Try to backhand you right in your teeth.
How's that for anxiety?
I'll try to punch you in your face.
Well, you gotta go pee-pee? Pee-pee? Or do you not have to go pee-pee and you just want to go across the chair? I'm gonna pull your hair until you stop crying.
Don't throw it. Don't throw. Animal, you.
Yep. You winch. You're like a pygmy. You're like a pygmy. How your tears dry up so quickly, crocodile.
And then she wants to destroy everything in sight.
I'm gonna knock you out.
And when did you find out about the recording?
Through the news.
Through our story on ABC 7?
Yes, sir.
So it's been months that the school district has known about this and never informed mom, never informed grandma.
I go to the police, to the principal, to the freaking special education coordinator, to the superintendent. I tell everybody and nobody helps her until it goes on his TV show. Nobody cares. I don't feel bad. I will not feel bad for taking care of my kid, or for standing up for her, or for the other kids that nobody cared about. So if that makes me a bad person because he's been a great superintendent, then I'm a bad person, but I will be a good mother.
Welcome back to Legal Dissent, where we evaluate your constitutional rights before they're taken away. Thank you so much for joining us, and if you support our message of government accountability and transparency, then please help spread our content by subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and interacting with us in the comments below. It really does make a huge difference in the YouTube algorithm. We are used to seeing corruption and abuse by government employees wearing uniforms and badges, but it strikes a deeper chord when that abuse is inflicted by teachers against the most vulnerable and defenseless individuals in our society. Today, we take a look at an incident that was recorded in 2018, but the search for justice is still ongoing in court today. Amber Pack is the mother of a nonverbal child diagnosed with autism. This child was placed in the special education class at Berkeley Heights Elementary School in Martinsburg, West Virginia. On October 2nd, 2018, Amber noticed bruises on her daughter's arms and was concerned for her well-being at school. Therefore, on October 4th, she placed an audio recording device in her daughter's hair and was shocked to hear what it recorded after just one day at school.
Try to backhand you right in your teeth.
How's that for anxiety?
I'll try to punch you in your face.
Well, you gotta go pee-pee? Pee-pee? Or do you not have to go pee-pee and you just want to go across the chair? I'm gonna pull your hair until you stop crying.
Don't throw it. Don't throw. Animal, you.
Yep. You winch. You're like a pygmy. You're like a pygmy. How your tears dry up so quickly, crocodile.
And then she wants to destroy everything in sight.
I'm gonna knock you out.
Do you think this has been going on for a while?
Yes. That was the first day I put the recorder in her hair.
One day you caught all
One day.
this.
8 hours.
To say that the statements made by the teachers are sickening and disgusting is an understatement. Armed with the recording, Amber Pack went to the police the very next day and filed a criminal complaint. Officer Connor and two other officers immediately visited the school and played parts of the recording for Principal Amber Beckman. The three voices heard on the tape were that of special education teacher Christina Lester and two teachers' aides, June Urish and Kristen Dowdy. Principal Beckman summoned Dowdy and Urish to her office, but did not segregate them or take a detailed statement at the time, allowing them both to go home for the weekend and to make a formal statement on Monday. This is important to note because this allows them time to get on the same page and potentially fabricate a story jointly. This is why law enforcement will almost always attempt to get suspects to talk as soon as possible and in isolation from any other potential accomplices. This reinforces why you should always remain silent and seek legal assistance if ever questioned about alleged criminal activity. Principal Beckman then called the Deputy Superintendent Margaret Kersey and informed her of the situation. Allegedly, Kersey instructed Beckman to conduct an in-school investigation and to have the parent, Amber Pack, destroy the tape before she could disperse it. 5 days after the recording, Amber Pack submitted the tape to Special Needs Coordinator Karen Petrucci, but after receiving no response within a couple of days, she resubmitted it, this time copying the Superintendent Manny Arvon and the Assistant Superintendent David Banks. This led to a meeting on the 29th, where Pack learned that Lester, Urish, and Dowdy, all three of the instructors on the recording, were all still employed and teaching at the Berkeley Heights Elementary with no action taken by the school at all. Allegedly, Principal Beckman conducted the investigation and reported to the Board of Education that the tape did not depict offending statements at the students, but instead consisted of the adults interacting with each other. As soon as Pat got home from the meeting, she posted information about the situation on her social media and 2 days later posted clips of the recording. This is the only way it was released publicly, as the school was still attempting to cover it all up.
I'm gonna beat your butt. For sure. You know, and you're gonna get one just cuz.
I've never heard from the principal, never heard from the superintendent, never heard from any of them.
Growl at me, I dare you, and you won't get one. Go ahead. There's nothing says I have to give you a snack. Nothing.
Looks like you get nothing, Owen. Sorry, buddy.
It's sickening. Like, people don't even talk to animals like that, and they're talking to nonverbal children who don't understand why they're talking to them like that. They're not doing anything wrong.
Despite all of this, the local prosecutor declined pursuing charges, finding that no criminal conduct was involved.
The Berkeley County Prosecutor's Office found no criminal wrongdoing, but County Prosecutor Katie Wilkes Delegati told Casey Murphy, "I am not in any way condoning the verbal treatment of your children by the individuals in the classroom. Right now, all three instructors are on paid administrative leave."
All three of the instructors were allowed to resign from their positions and not be fired, after sitting on paid administrative leave for over a month. It is important to note that they resigned because that impacts future jobs they could potentially hold. It is not uncommon to see police officers, teachers, and other government employees to just switch departments or locations after resigning from one position to avoid disciplinary actions. It seemed like everyone involved would avoid any kind of actual punishment, but then the parents stood up and began protesting to shed a light on the school's handling of the situation.
When did you find out about the recording?
Through the news.
Through our story on ABC7?
Yes, sir.
So it's been months that the school district has known about this and never informed mom, never informed grandma. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it infuriates me because I don't know really what happened in that classroom. And, you know, I want answers.
And how do you feel about the teacher and the two aides have resigned, but you think there needs to be more in the school district or not? And
they need to be accused and imprisoned, because I don't think that you have the right to treat people that are non-verbal.
Yeah, and the prosecutor already said there was no crime, but do you want the superintendent or the principal held accountable, and what would you like to see happen with them?
I want them fired.
Finally, the state's attorney general stepped in and filed charges against the three instructors on February 19th, 2019, claiming that they violated the West Virginia Human Rights Act by failing to report abuse to authorities when they had a duty to do so. Also alleging that the instructors threatened the children with physical violence. Later in May of 2019, they amended the complaint to add Principal Beckman and Deputy Superintendent Kersey as defendants for their role in trying to cover up the abuse and not taking action against the instructors.
Former Berkeley County Schools special education teacher Christina Lester and former aides June Urish and Christian Dowdy all in court after their August arrest on a misdemeanor charge in connection to a secret classroom recording that a student's mother claims revealed disturbing comments by instructors to students in a special education classroom. Can you tell me why you made the comments on the recording? Would you like to say anything at all?
No comment.
All three are facing a criminal charge of failure to report abuse or neglect to the Department of Health and Human Resources. Hey, June, do you have an apology for the kids at all? Any apology? The initial hearing was postponed as the state has filed a motion to have the defendant's only attorney in court removed due to a conflict of interest. All three are also facing a civil lawsuit by the West Virginia Attorney General's office, who call the comments on the recording barbaric. Christine, I'm Scott Taylor with WJLA. I want to give you an opportunity to apologize to the children. Do you have anything to say at all to the kids? Anything at all? You want to apologize to the family? I want to give you an opportunity to apologize. The three ladies will be back in court next month. They're going to argue if their attorney stays with them or not following the state's motion. And we will then know if the judge allows him to stay on the case or gives him the boot.
Now, almost 3.5 years after the recording was made, the instructors are still awaiting trial, with the judicial system being bogged down with questions over the eligibility of the defendant's attorney and which court they should be tried in. Their trial is currently set for November 15th of 2022. Meanwhile, Amber Pack and other parents filed a lawsuit. The school eventually settled for an undisclosed amount in November of 2020. Not after the school district filed a countersuit against Pack personally for violating their privacy rights by recording the teachers without their consent. This was later dropped because the court found that they have no reasonable expectation of privacy in a public setting. In a public school classroom where the parents have signed consent forms for video and audio recording of their children, and also the classroom maintains an intercom system that the administration can use to listen in on the classroom, would be considered a public setting. Therefore, the teachers and the school would have no right to privacy of what the teachers told their students. The other suit that came out of this debacle is the multi-million-dollar lawsuit filed by the instructors against pretty much every media company that published the audio, claiming that they used it to mislead people into believing that the defendants were making statements to special needs students rather than to other teachers, which I'm not sure how that's possible or would be significantly better, but that appears to be their defense going into trial. Dowdy was seeking just over $900,000 in lost salary, compensation for health benefits, and pain and suffering for emotional distress for $1 million per instructor. Shocking development, this suit was quickly thrown out and dismissed in January of 2020. Deputy Superintendent Sturgis resigned quickly after all of this went down. However, Principal Beckman appears to still be the principal at the school. We'll keep an eye on this case as it proceeds towards the criminal trial later this year. What do you think about all of this? Are you surprised that it took the school district over a month to finally pull these instructors from the classroom and place them on paid administrative leave? Do you think that it was right to allow the teachers to resign instead of firing them? Let us know in the comments below. And remember that no matter who you are, you have value and you have rights. Do not be afraid to use them, and we'll see you next time right here on Legal Dissent.